no, go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Houston with a Problem After Dark. As you can see, it is dark behind me out there, out when you're under a window. Friday, trading week's over. Yeah. Not much happening in the world beyond, for some reason, the Dow keeps having records while everyone's like, oh my God, inflation's terrible. And Facebook's trying to rebrand themselves as Meta rather than actually like deal with the Nazis on their website. And as a result, Metamaterials had a puny pop yesterday. And because people thought, I thought it was because of rumors of a possible buyout. They are sharing a stage at this augmented reality conference or wearable technology conference, whatever, in San Diego on Monday, talking about their tech and whatever it is they bring to the table. But apparently it's just because people didn't know that Metamaterials is a different company than Meta. Well, some folks I know made a killing on options, so good for them. Way to go. And yeah. So Friday shows, as you know, Friday After Dark, they're the weird ones. They are anything goes because the week's over and we're just going to enjoy the weekend here. So we got, super chat right off the bat. Randy Ellis, did you notice Fidelity increased its limit sell order percentage from 50% to 600% back in May? I did the math. I crossed 4.6 billion after my 7th share using your ladder method during MOASS. Buckle up. That's a lot. if you're starting out at what, $1 billion a share? So not too shabby. All right. Yeah. Go for it. If it works, it works. Okay, so we're just going to dive right into the chat because you guys will bring up what you want to talk about, and I'll talk about it. Okay. JWST, what are some price jumps you guess for GME? I mean, during MOASS spread between bid and ask speed. Well, that's going to be really hard to gauge because we've had huge gaps before. Back in April, we had a $55,000 gap that got filled by market makers naked shorting the stock. So, it was like the highest bid was like 179 and the lowest ask was 55,000. And then the market makers just flooded the market with naked shares. And all of a sudden, a bunch of shares were selling at 179. I think the fact that after hours, you look at after hours recently on GameStop and shares don't sell. They are just as frequent selling shares after hours as Berkshire Hathaway is, which is not very often. And that's because the market makers aren't flooding the market with naked shares after hours. They're going to the martini bar and getting wasted and doing rails off of prostitutes. So that's what they do on their evening spree. So everything depends upon how much power the market makers have to flood the market with shares when the time comes. If they have the ability to actually generate naked shares still, then it's going to be slow going. If all of a sudden that power gets taken away from them because they don't meet capital requirements, then I think we see some really big jumps. I think the minute market makers can't generate naked shares, we'll see giant jumps immediately because that's the only way you're going to get a hold of it. You won't be able to buy shares otherwise because we're not selling until the price is stupid. So that's the two things to look at. Or I guess one thing is, will the market makers have market maker powers when the MOASS happens? Dr. Stonk Rule says, can you say hi to Sally for me, please? You rule, Houston. Hi, Sally. Hi. That work? All right. Okay. Everybody's already jumped in here. God, what do we got here? Calgarith, Houston, you should Google search the Burj Al Babas housing development, Turkey. I know that place. That's the princess houses, the princess castles. Yeah, some Turkish company made like 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 princess castles and then went bankrupt. And it is absolutely grotesque. Let's see here. All right. Oh, shit. Scene. And there we go. Burj Al Babas. They are castles. Look at these castles. So they're styled things, but what they did was they said, oh, we're going to have these luxurious spas, and all these Saudis and Kuwaiti billionaires are going to want to come and buy homes and live in these luxurious castles, and they're going to look all magnificent, and the homes are going to look so luxurious and posh and everything and have high-end touches. And then they built a whole bunch of these, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. And then this is what the inside looked like, with like crappy refrigerators and crappy construction, and then they went bankrupt. So I was like 500 or 600 of these empty castles that are just crammed together, neck to neck, shoulder to shoulder, filling up this whole valley, and no one wants them. Oh, it's a good old thing for you there. Yeah. Oh, son of a bitch! God damn. We are centering our chi here. We are centering our chi. We are centering our chi. Chi is centered. The chi is centered. We have centered the chi. Okay. Now, super chat. Manny Mecca, how many shares of GME and AMC do you hold? Like, I don't have quite 100 GME. I have 78, somewhere around there. AMC, a couple hundred. Yeah, not huge. I got in late. I was one of those folks who got in at $2.57 sometime last year. I got in February. So that's where I am. But GME is the bulk of what I have. All right. Wait, sorry. Always doing a little scan, and then the stupid screen resets. 1337 Gaming, question for you. What are your thoughts on RZA interview that just came out? He said that the man who purchased the album had a Wu vibe. I think that Pow Dow, is that the name of the NFT group? Pow Dow, whatever it is. I think they're tied to GameStop and to Ryan Cohen at this point. Apparently, if you have bought a game from GameStop over the last month or so, they ship a bottle of Coke Zero to you. And in Mandarin, sugarless is Wu-Tang. So I think they've been leaving enough Easter eggs to know that we're getting the Wu-Tang album. We are getting it as part of our dividend, and it's going to be glorious. Monty, William Morgan says no one's enforcing the rules. Is this true? Well, yeah, no one's enforcing the rules. That's exactly true. And the rules are written in such a way that there's so many loopholes to them that they can just get away with it. So, you're not allowed to naked short unless you're a market maker, or unless you can pretend like you can identify where shares are available. Then you can naked short all you want. The rules need to be changed so that naked shorting means you go to prison. And that's that. You go to prison and you go bankrupt. That should be the naked shorting rules. Shouldn't be debt swaps. Shouldn't be equity swaps. Shouldn't be failure to delivers expiring and resetting. Shouldn't be reg show loopholes. Shouldn't be naked shorting. You can't naked short. You can't generate counterfeits at all, period, ever. I don't care if liquidity in the market is your goal. You can't do it. Let things be the price they should be, because it's the price that the market wants them to be. Everything else is just manipulation, man. Beans Brigade Gaming. I got all the gaming guys here. Hey, Houston, happy non-birthday. Did you hear they discovered the first planet outside of our galaxy? Maybe it was a solar system, 150 million light years away. 150 million light years is a long ways away for a galaxy, for a planet. We've been able to visually resolve a couple of times planets with telescopes here. My guess is they maybe looked at the wobble of a star in a distant galaxy and maybe saw that it wobbled so they can be like, hey, there's a planet out there. That may be what they did. I'm still waiting for the James Webb telescope to go up, and the James Webb is taking forever. I mean, it was budgeted in 1997 at a cost of $500 million and scheduled for 5 years, from conception to production and into space. So it should have been in space by 2002. Here at 2021, 24 years later, $9 billion over budget, and it still hasn't gone into space. It's just taking a mirror and throwing it into space. We've done it a dozen times. The problem is that the way NASA budgets now gets budgeted is all these little congressmen want to make sure that their district gets a piece of the pie, and so the mirror segments have to bounce around across the country back and forth. It does like 60,000 miles back and forth across the country before it ever reaches assembly. And it took until 2011 till the first mirror segment of the 16 segments was done. I just want to see pretty planets in my telescope, please. I don't want... I'm going to show you how ridiculous this is. Where's the... James... Oops. Let's put you back on scene here. James Webb telescope. Yeah, mirror segment journey. There we go. It's going to be images in here somewhere of ridiculousness. There it is. All right. So let's look at this. Can I make you huge? Make you huge. Get huge. All right. So the James Webb telescope, the mirror segments are made up of gold-plated beryllium. Beryllium's a nice light metal, pretty hard, fairly brittle, but it's found in one place in the world. And I've talked about beryllium before. It's found in Delta, Utah, at the Materion Brush-Wellman mine in Delta, Utah. 99.9% of all the beryllium on Earth comes from that mine in Utah. So it's there. The ore processing center is also there, but then their main refinery is in Ohio. So it's got to travel from Delta, Utah to Ohio, where it gets turned into chunks of metal. And then for some reason, rather than building a facility right there in Ohio to finish these mirrors, it's got to go to Huntsville, Alabama, and then it's got to go all the way to Northern California, and then to Colorado, and then back to Northern California. Oh, sorry, Colorado, and then, back to Huntsville, Alabama, all the way back to Colorado, right? Back to Northern California, back to Colorado, all the way back to Pennsylvania. From Pennsylvania, it goes down to, back to Colorado again. Oh, great. And then from Colorado, back to Alabama. From Alabama to Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C. to Texas, Texas to Southern California. It's finally assembled at the Northrop Grumman facility in California, and then finally goes to French Guiana, where it's going to be launched. 24-year process, bouncing the stupid thing back and forth across the country at least 14 times before the mirror assembly is ever done. It's so stupid. Just pick a spot, build it there, do it in 5 years like you said, and save everybody $8.5 billion, $9 billion. Draw! Oh, got Grandpa Barney back. Grandpa! Hello, my little brother. Working last night on Sunrise Drive all night. Well, not too far from me. Wet and dark, made people happy. So why does wet black asphalt suck all my lights away? And I doubled my money on Shiba, and I put it all GME and AMC. Boom. There's a plan. Looping it up. Didn't run me. Well, dark wet asphalt sucks all your light away? Well, that's because it's dark. Black absorbs. It absorbs all light. That's why. Pretty simple. Yeah. Or we're going to dinner. Where indeed. I do wish Agate Pass was still in Suquamish. It was so good back then. Oh, man. Best restaurant in the Northwest, period. Marty Bracken, she was the owner of Agate Pass Cafe. Absolute genius. But when the lease came due, she put the restaurant out for sale, and then, things change. Then she moved to Bellingham, made a wonderful restaurant up there. Monty, Super Chats. Will the bubble pop before end of year, triggering margin calls? Everything is over leveraged. Everything is way over leveraged. We are at 100 and something % higher margin on the market than we were, 18 months ago. It's absolutely insane. Last year alone, 2020 alone, margin went up 75%. Like the amount of margin trading in the market. It's the most over leveraged market in history as percentage of leverage, not just dollars. We again are going to be facing the debt ceiling bubble when that comes due in December, right before Christmas. It's great time to celebrate Christmas, is possibly everyone on Earth losing their jobs. So we got the debt ceiling bubble. We are going to have a really watered down infrastructure bill that's meh. It's not going to be that impressive. It's going to be about half of what it should be. And we still have inflation at a very steady rate of 5+% a month. I was listening to Marketplace coming in from work today, and they're talking about how October's at least 4.4% inflation. They'll probably get, my guess is when they do the numbers going into next month, it's going to be higher. So we're definitely facing something. Housing's new construction of homes has taken a steep dive. Building materials are still way expensive. The supply chain is absolutely bonkers. We still have ships all over the world where they shouldn't be. Ships stuck trying to get into the port of Los Angeles. Yeah. It's going to be a weird one. It's going to be a weird one for sure. And, another variant could arrive and we could just be doing this crap all over again. Let's sigh. So we're working. We're waiting. Like I said, we're all sucker fish on the giant sharks waiting to see what happens. There's not much power you and I have. We just sit and we wait and we watch, and hopefully we can strike and get that morsel and get it. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Stonk says, will Facebook please just buy Metamaterial so we can all have designer shoes? Oh, there's a Houston Wade Jr. now. Oh, goodness. Is it true limit order guarantees a sell price, whereas market orders do not and may be variable? Yeah. That's the whole thing about their market orders have been delayed for folks, and then they get a price that is not something they want. And brokerages get in trouble for this. The guys do the payment for order flows get in trouble for this, and they pay meager fines for this stuff. So you do a limit order. When it hits that limit, that's the price you're going to get. So that's why limit orders are probably the best way. That's why I think limit order is the best way for me to go. Again, not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but yeah, that's the price. And it may grow past that price, but at least you got what you want out of it. Space Monkey asks, what are your thoughts about Mark? Remark Holdings. I have no thoughts about them, but they had a good climb. Went from $1.86 to $2.34 this morning. I don't know what they do. What do they do? Remark Holdings. What do they own? So it's another Trump? Oh, I don't know. I think at this point it looks like every possible SPAC is like, oh, Donald Trump's involved with us too, and hoping to get a bunch of MAGA money. So there've been, looks like jumps in a lot of these folks. What's the 5-day for them? Well, they had a big jump last week, but nothing, and boom, $4. Not bad. I mean, get yourself 500% or so out of that. Yeah, I know I mean, you got what? Fun, DWAC, Bene, now this. Like, how many SPACs are going to be tied in? I have no idea. At this point, you know, if you can get stock in some sort of holding company, and then somehow get a press release going out saying that's tied to Donald Trump, you can probably get 500% of that sucker in no time and skip town. Of course, the SEC might hunt you down, but yeah, that's what it seems like everyone's doing. Is that they're like, oh, this is Donald Trump's new SPAC, and then everyone jumps into it and makes somebody some money. Seems a little sketchy to me. Easy E. Super chats. I don't see any of the AMC apes talking about the new Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man IP kills at the box office. Thoughts on destroying the short thesis. When is Spider-Man coming home? What is it? Spider-Man universe? Spider-Man. What's it called? New Spider-Man movie. The No Way Home. That's the new one? When's it come out? When does it come out? Spider-Man No Way Home release. December 17th. All right. Yeah. So, you know, we got that. We got Matrix. We got those two big guys looking forward to. Currently the big ones, we got Dune and Bond both in the theaters. So, you know, those are always going to do well. I think it's going to be a strong run for the movie theaters here towards the end of the year. You know, COVID's starting to taper off, at least for now. So that humps over. And yeah, I think it bodes well. Earnings came out for AMC and they're up 500% over last year, which makes sense because half the country's more open than it was this time last year. So yeah. Grandma Barney says, "Get Harper Costco out a butt wipe." Yeah, seriously, like, stop hoarding the toilet paper, or just stop using it as much as you do. Just chill out, people. You're gonna get a rash down there. Uncle Smokey's stock trades. Hey, Wade, I'll be in awe at the awe in California. I have a press pass and all. Anything you want me to cover for you, I'll be live a bunch while there. Sweet. That's the thing that's happening in San Diego right now, isn't it, Uncle Smokey? Yeah, check it out. Monday's the Metamaterials Facebook. I have no idea what they're presenting, but they got a big old panel. I assume they're presenting something cool because why else would they be showing up? I haven't been to like too many of these big electronics gizmos. My brother got to go to like, what was it? Triple E, the CES, those ones. And then I got to go to this Screen Expo a few years ago in Seattle where they had all the weird flat panel stuff and you could like print film and put onto windows. So it'd be like a normal window, but then it turned to your television and crazy cool things like that. I just went for the hell of it because it was here and you could get a little guest pass. But I would love to go to those big shows. I just go to science nerd conferences where there's a bunch of astronomers who are all like, have like desperate, horrible, crippling social anxiety, and then they get wasted and dance awkwardly all night long. And yeah, so I'm getting the YouTube. My streaming is going slow. I apologize if my streaming sucks right now. At least hopefully audio is coming through. But yeah, just tell us what's going on, Uncle Smokey. Tell us what's going on at that thing. I'd love to know what's happening with those folks. See if you can get inside. If you can, like, I don't know, rub elbows and ask them awkward questions about their future. Boom, boom, boom. Coffee Donuts and Homer asks, "What's up with the COO leaving GameStop abruptly on 10/25?" Not a clue. I only heard about it today. So heard about it this morning. She left. No one said why. Maybe it wasn't a fit. I have no clue. I'm going to say this wrong. Moodvanian88. Okay, there we go. Have we discussed Prague potential into the coming weeks? We talked about it briefly the other day. Was it Wednesday? Oops. Yeah, it's not doing much at the moment. It had crazy volume, absolutely insane volume on, was it Wednesday, where they traded like 14 times normal volume. Uh, but it looks like, yeah, Wednesday, the price went to 428 and then got crushed after that. And now we're down below $4. Um, but it's climbing back up. I mean, it had a peak of 6 something, 726 back when everything else peaked, January 27th, January 28th. So that's only mini spike. Looks like it's climbing back up again. Might be shorts are freaking out and they're having to cover or something. So, AMC SHIB, how shitty do you feel for selling? Oh man, SHIB, dude. And SHIB hit what, $88? 88 ten thousandths, 100,000ths on Wednesday. Where are you, SHIB? What are you doing right now? Let's see what you're doing. I'm still double what I rebought in for, so I'm okay there. But if I hadn't touched it, yeah, we're golden. We're still double. If I hadn't touched it though, I'd be up like 12 grand. Stupid. Still blows my mind that somebody has like $5 billion sitting in a wallet somewhere that they purchased sometime last year. My buddy was looking at the wallet, and it's an active wallet. There's people dumping all sorts of weird crypto into that wallet. So we were wondering if it's a developer of some kind. That there's a developer who, if you pilfer someone's code to mint a coin. So like I basically stole someone's code to do Problemo coins, and they're like, hey, if you use my code, send me 10,000 of them. Just, shits and giggles. We'll see what it's all about. So send it to this wallet. And you send it to the wallet as like a thank you for letting me steal your code to make my own thing. I'm wondering if it's a developer who's tied to something like that, because they've got a lot of different coins in there, and it's still active, and they're not doing anything with it. The best move forward, if the guy who has that SHIB coin wallet is out there, you're sitting on like 160 trillion Shiba Inu worth $5 billion plus dollars, you can burn 4 billion of that, maybe more, and absolutely just destroy a whole bunch of the Shiba Inu and shorten the supply, make the float a lot smaller. And not only will the coins you have now jump, and probably get back to that 5 billion mark in no time, but you'll carry a whole bunch of other holders with you. It'll rise in that tide. So if you want to help me get more first-class airline tickets in the future, bump that sucker up there. Destroy that SHIB. SHIB burn it. If you guys follow SHIB burn on Twitter, you can see that 410 trillion Shiba Inu have been burned so far. So there's like 589 trillion left. It's a weird number to think about. Yeah. Okay. GME is the only path. That's true. GME is the only path, unless you're a lucky son of a bitch who bought $8,000 in Shiba Inu in August of last year and are now like Forbes top 100 richest people. Although if they tried to sell it, they would get through. Binance did an article on it today. It said something like the holder of that wallet, if they tried to dump that wallet and get their cash back, that they would make it through $5 million worth before they crashed the entire value of SHIB by over 99%. So there's going to have to be something else, some other way they can get their money. They might have to maybe trade it on a dark pool, essentially. Go like, hey, anyone want my $5 billion of Shiba Inu for $1 billion in Bitcoin, and then do a wallet exchange that way and outside the market so that it doesn't affect the price. My guess is that's going to what way they're going to have to do it. Real Mr. Fantastic, as opposed to the fake Mr. Fantastic. As Houston, Christmas is coming, and I don't want to give my kids ages 3 to 6 mind-numbing toys. As an educator, can you point me into the direction of some good STEM gift ideas? Maybe a supplier. Well, 6-year-olds are ready for Legos. Boom. Easiest thing you can do right there. Just get some Legos for the 6-year-old. Maybe Lincoln Logs, Rector sets. Man, Rector sets might be a little too technical for them at 6. But Legos and Lincoln Logs are really good. 3-year-olds, 3-year-olds are still like, their brains are still mush and they're still absorbing a lot of information. Very colorful books, like just lots of books they can flip through and see pictures and learn how to sound out words. Those are always great. What else? Monkey, what was I playing with when I was 3? I watched a lot of Looney Tunes. Just Bugs Bunny cartoons are great. Yeah, toy-wise, toy cars. I was obsessed with toy cars, like Hot Wheels, Matchbox. Those were my favorite thing to play with. I had all sorts of little worlds. I remember my mom got some sort of like felt mat, and somebody was selling. They would with fabric markers. They would draw downtown Winslow. So if we bring up the map here, go to Google Earth. Come on, Google Earth. Go to Google Earth, and we go to my home. Get north so everyone can get oriented here. North. So go to Bainbridge Island, and the main little part of town is called Winslow. And so basically they had like the main drag, the little park on the water here, the marina, the ferry terminal. There was a daycare, Erickson, Cave Avenue. There was a daycare up here called Big Kids Daycare or something like that. And they had the grocery store, the post office. They drew this like kind of forced perspective 2.5D like map that was scaled to a toy car. So it had all the little parking spots for the grocery store and everything. It was really cool. So they'd lay out this map that was probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 feet long and maybe 4 feet wide, and you could drive your little cars on it. And it was just the coolest thing. And as a little buddy, when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, I mean, I still play with that thing probably until I was 10, driving my little toy cars on there, living in that world. And it was just so nifty to like have this map, and my little brain could, oh, that's and I don't know if that helped me with spatial reasoning, but I knew my way around town at 3 years old from that map. And I remember as at 4, I grew up when I was 4, for the year between 4 and 5, we lived in a condo here, right there. And this was all Navy housing. This is now a fancy development full of rich condo owners, but this was all like Navy housing for enlisted Navy people. So I had some like kids who were friends. We'd wander up and down this road doing whatever kids do. But at 4 years old, I wandered away from the house, went through this development because there was a little trail that went to Winslow, and I went to the grocery store. And you know what, things like don't make sense to you when you're a child. And like back in the 80s, your mom needed cash. She would go to the grocery store. She would write a check out to the grocery store and they'd give her cash. I didn't know that was what she was doing. She's like, oh, we gotta make a stop at the grocery store and get some cash. And I was like, cool. You just go in the grocery store and you ask for cash and they give it to you. So at 4 years old, I went in, I stood in line at the grocery store and get up to the checker. She's like, what can I do for you? Very small human. I was like, I want some money. And she was like, okay. And rather than reaching into the till, she like went into her wallet and gave me like 2 quarters. And I was like, that was easy. So I turned around, grabbed a bag of M&Ms off the shelf right behind me and gave it to her. Threw the 2 quarters back at her and walked out with some M&Ms. She's probably so confused by that. But I didn't realize my mother was like writing a check to the grocery store to get cash from them. But yeah, I wandered all over town. I knew where everything was as a result of like playing with this little map. I think they're great. If you can find something similar like that or make that for your little 3-year-old, they would love it. Okay. Monty, do you think gold and silver prices will jump dramatically once this bubble pops? Yes. In 2009, silver hit what, $50? And gold touched 2000. Gold's touched 2000 since. But I think gold can blow past 2000 if the market collapses, simply because if we have a downturn because all the mechanics are wrong, gold can easily shoot past 2000. If we do it to ourselves because we allow the debt ceiling to expire and we default on any of our loans and everything just implodes from there, gold will hit 5,000. That's the way it's going to go. The prices are going to be insane on those metals in the months after a collapse. We really just, yeah. If you're buying gold now, I bet you can 2x that sucker when the economy collapses, in the months after the economy collapses. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do sell a lot of gold. So yeah. Gold is what everyone clings to. The minute the economy takes a fart, everyone jumps into gold. Dan Summit asks, if GME NFT move is announced for Loopring, do the shorts have to close only real shares or all the synthetics as well? Also, I see Loopring is going to be gas-free. Yes. So they got to get rid of every synthetic share. There cannot be any synthetic shares in existence if the move is made to Loopring to create a new exchange. Because they'll only be taking the real shares out, because that's the 73 million or whatever shares that have been authorized for GameStop that should only exist. Those are the shares that will be leaving the DTCC computers. Therefore, they cannot leave behind any synthetic ones, because synthetic ones will tell everyone that they've been screwing up. Because if you have, a billion shares sitting there after the shares shouldn't exist anymore, people are going to start asking some questions and doing some investigations, figuring out why. So there's going to be a whole bunch of force buying and margin calls as a result. Okay. I think you should put on a Halloween costume. I'll have something for Sunday. I want you to know, all right, I grew like 13 inches in 9 months when I was like 12, 13 years old. I absolutely just... This shirt I'm wearing is the shirt I wore to 8th grade banquet when I was like 13 years old, 6 years ago. And it still fits me exactly as it did then. I was a towering giant back then. Now I'm just medium-sized towering giant. Other people blew past me after that. Josh Young. Are all MOASS believers conservatives, considering all liberals are socialists and believe government control and redistribution of wealth? No. There's a smattering. There's a smattering in this chat. They're everywhere. I am way on the left. But there's still very conservative folks in here as well. So no, they're not all conservatives. They're not all liberals. They're not all anything. They're just most people are folks that have just been shit on for a long time, and they want their day, and they're gonna get it. Easiest for us to buy gold. Talked about this on Wednesday. Mutual funds and ETFs, great way to go, because you get it, and without having to have the physical thing, someone else holds it, and there's a small maintenance fee or whatever. The way I do it is I will own physical gold. I go out and I buy junk pieces of jewelry. I buy old electronics. I melt it down. I get the gold ingots out of it, and I sell that stuff, or I keep it in a safe deposit box. So that's what I do. I've got gold dust. I've got gold nuggets. I've got gold. So that's my that, and well, I used to have a bunch of loose gemstones, but I was an idiot and I hid them in the desert, making my clue way too easy. So I don't have gemstones to rely on anymore. But gold and silver ingots that I smelt myself are like my emergency backup plan. But yeah, ETFs, easy way to, in gold mutual funds, easy way to get your hands on some gold. Oat Milk Man super chats. With all the companies being heavily shorted, my question is, why would any company want to go public right now? Yeah. Why? I mean, you may as well just go to the Loopring network and say, hey, I minted a coin. These coins are ownership of my company. Done. Right? Why not? Why not just do it that way? And then the gas fee is the commission, and people can just trade on that market that way. And then you can mint other coins as your dividends or something for everyone. I don't know. I think there's a much better system out there, and we are just sort of touching on what that system is. I mean, think about crypto for a second. Like, and again, this is another thing I've talked about in the past. You have a company that issues stock. They issue 100 million shares of stock, and it sells at $15 a share, and it gives you rights of ownership to that company. You own this chunk, and it gives you rights to the profit the company makes, and you get something out of it. You get dividends, you get growth, you get all these things. Another company can come and take you over, and your stock price can double, and blah 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 blah. You can buy a piece of digital currency that trades. It's a piece of something, but they don't make anything, right? You're not going to get a dividend from that coin. It's just a coin that does its thing, and it's supposed to be a currency, but it trades just like a stock would, but there's no dividends, there's no profit sharing, there's none of that stuff. So if you can combine the two, and you can get everything on a blockchain, and you can see who owns what, and where it's being traded, and for how much at all times, and there's no real dark market outside of people just exchanging physical wallets with each other, I guess, then, there you go. I think the market is going to move towards this, and I'm really hoping that GameStop is the catalyst that makes the big jump. So, yeah, I think if you could issue a crypto share of stock way easier than you could anything else, and track it. It seems like the Loop Ring coin is a way of buying into Loop Ring. That's how they raised capital. Same thing. Might as well be a stock certificate, just called a Loop Ring coin. Okay. People talking about Elvis dying on the toilet. Elvis died in the toilet because he ate deep fat fried Elvises, which he flew in from Seattle. A 10,000 calorie sandwich. He ate 10 of them a day. Had him flown from Seattle to Memphis every morning. It was peanut butter, potato chips, bananas, pork belly. What else is in there? Can't remember what's in the. If you ever had a fat fried Elvis, it is amazing. Holy smokes. I can definitely see eating 10 of those a day and then dying on the toilet as a result. What a way to go. It would just be like oral factory heaven. I get it. I get it, Elvis. I totally get it. I'm not even to when I started the show yet in the questions. That's how far behind I am with you guys. Steve Gaggan, if Saturn and Jupiter were converge or collide, I think you mean, would that be enough mass to give us a second star in our solar system? No, not quite. So the smallest star can be about 8% the size of our sun in mass. So that's like 10 to the 30th kilograms. I think Jupiter is like 10 to the 29th. Let's see here. Let's see if we can take that off. We go. Jupiter mass. Then the 27th. Oh, so we're 1,000. We're 3 orders of magnitude off. So you would essentially need 1,000 Jupiters and Saturns to collide with each other to get enough mass for the sun. So I think the sun is 10 to the 31. 10 to the 30. Okay, 10 to 30. So yeah, you need about 1,000 Jupiters or so to equal. Well, let's equal one sun. To get 8% of the sun would be 100 or so. Yeah. 80 to 100 Jupiters and Saturns would have to collide to make enough mass to make a baby star, a little M-class star. That's what we need. 1,000 Jupiters equals the size of our sun. 80 to 100 would equal the size of the smallest possible star. So no, not quite. It would be very hot and it would be very bright if they did collide, but it wouldn't last for very long. Okay. Oh, there's the warning. Tell me to turn off my intro at 7:30 when I'm still reading stuff from 20 minutes ago. Okay. Resident Flea, hi. When you sell in the pre or after hours trading using limit order, does it guarantee the sale of a stock during that time? I have not had success at all with buying or selling pre-market or after hours. They just don't. Nothing seems to trigger. I'll watch a stock blow past my limit order and then come right past it again, and nothing. It won't buy it. It won't sell it. Even though I clicked like, hey, go for after hours and pre-market and all this stuff, and nothing. It never triggers then. It always triggers when the market opens. It pisses me off. So no, I've never had success at all with trading after hours or pre-market. It's just, I don't know. I think that it's one of those things. It's like the close elevator doors button. It's not attached to anything. You hit that button, it doesn't make the doors close. It's just by the time you're like, oh, these doors should have closed already. That's by the time the doors are closing when you hit that button. But if you hit that button, it's not going to make the doors close at all. It's not hooked up to anything. Same thing with pre-market and aftermarket. Coco Flannel Apes asking if I were 100% vested in my 401k, would I take it out with the penalty? Probably not. I would leave that sucker for your retirement in the future and have other stuff to play with now that you can take out. I don't know. Or if you got long, I mean, you can take a 30% penalty if you take it out, or you can take a 30% penalty when you trade the stock. So I guess if you day trade that stuff, you're going to be paying it anyway. It's up to you, really. It's nice to have something that can sit there and not be taxed and then be available to you when, other old people will be eating cat food and living off Social Security. Monty asks, can you talk about AMC for 10 minutes since I super chatted you 4 times tonight? Sure. I don't know if we can talk about it for 10 minutes. I don't know what to talk about for 10 minutes. I mean, AMC earnings are up over 500%. Some big blockbusters are coming in the next month. They are shorted to oblivion. They're still among the top 10 shorted stocks, I believe. It's from Market Watch, so I can't really trust them. But Big Five's still up there. I'll look into Big Five a little bit. Ugh, go away. Just give me my things. Oops, sorry, I didn't turn on the thing. So we got Big Five's in there. Root's still in there. My Root stock is just eating shit. It's at a 52-week low today. Beam, Corsair, GoGo, Therapeutics, Nikola, Weber. I thought AMC was on this list. There's Bed Bath & Beyond's back on. iRobot. Huh, interesting. Joanne Fabrics. They shorted the heck out of Joanne Fabrics. Where else are old ladies going to go? They're not going to shop for their fabrics online. What else we got? Wayfair. No, AMC's not on the list. I thought they popped up on the list when I saw this the other day. Weird. But what the short interest in these guys? 50%. Big Five is at 43. Interesting. Anyway, AMC. What can I say that hasn't been said? AMC shorted like crazy. Retail owns 85% of it. All indications show that there's probably billions of shares that are shorted. And, we're just waiting for the catalyst to kick this thing off. And whatever that catalyst happens to be, it's going to go. It's going to explode. So, yeah. I don't know where else to go with that. Oh, B-Big's on the list still. 270. That's change. Okay. But we're sitting, we're waiting, we're seeing, and we're waiting for AMC to do something special. I don't know if I can go for 10 minutes doing that over and over again. You guys know the story. Brick and mortars got hammered. COVID hit. The brick and mortars got hammered even more. And then retail investors just jumped in and said, you know what? Enough's enough. We're going to buy and hold and until someone hurts. And, the price has gone from pennies to $40, bouncing around in the $40 range. So, yeah, there you go. There's your AMC story in a nutshell. All right. Okay. Houston, do you have a particular favorite platform for trading crypto, like novel crypto, etc.? New to crypto. I just have crypto.com and Coinbase, and then I've got a Loopring wallet and a MetaMask wallet. Crypto.com gives you access to all sorts of shit coins that don't mean diddly. And then Coinbase is great because you can transfer money back and forth and doesn't take any percentages of it. Doesn't eat it up at all. Although you do pay fees for trading, the fees aren't as bad as they would be for like CashApp or Venmo. Although Venmo recently was like, hey, if you buy $25 in Bitcoin, we'll give you $25. So I bought $25 in Bitcoin on there and they gave me the $25. So thank you, Venmo. Thanks for the money. Sold the Bitcoin. I'm out. So yeah. Robinhood does not yet have a wallet. Does Webull have a wallet for their crypto, or are they doing the same thing Robinhood is, where you buy the crypto and they say you own it and then you can't do anything with it because you don't actually have a wallet? But Robinhood said they have a wallet coming, so they're going to be releasing a wallet for their platform, and I am just waiting for that arbitrage with Shiba Inu. I will gladly Shiba Inu the heck out of that thing when the wallet comes and make a killing, because why not? Brian Strange, I agree. Loopring equals game over for shorts. How would Wu-Tang NFT dividend work? How different will it be than Loopring? More like a Metamaterials situation? I think, and this is all speculation, but it sounds like there's several things being worked on in NFT and digital crypto stuff with GameStop. So the prevailing theory is, one, they offer a crypto dividend sometime before the end of the year, before the end of quarter 4. And that crypto dividend is the Wu-Tang album that's been minted into NFT and then broken up into ERC20 tokens. And then those are given to all the folks. And when those tokens are combined into Mega Godzilla or whatever, you get Captain Planet, you get the Wu-Tang album. And what I think they're hoping to do is demonstrate that there's so many naked shares out there that all the shareholders will not be able to get the ERC tokens they're earned. Because if you only have 73 million ERC tokens, but there's a billion or more shares, then 930 million plus people will not get the ERC tokens that they're promised as a dividend. This can trigger liquidations, stock recalls, all sorts of stuff. It also gives the GameStop folks the ability to go to the DTCC and say, hey, you said we weren't naked shorted. Obviously we are. We don't trust your system anymore. Give us our stock back. And then they can give a 90-day warning to the DTCC to recall all their shares from that system and put it into another system, which would be the exchange on the Loopring network. Now, I think it's a 2-step process to go from giving everybody the crypto dividend of the Wu-Tang NFT and then asking for all the shares back from the DTCC and putting it onto its own exchange on Loopring where it's traded. That's the second cycle. And then the third cycle of NFT, and they're doing it for fungible and non-fungible tokens. And someone who's named W-Tang put this up on GitHub the other day. And this can be for in-game purchases, for skins, for DLC content for video games, basically creating an exchange where people can trade all these different things like, oh, I've got this skin for a Call of Duty game, but I really want the dress for someone on Sims, and you can trade this stuff cross-platform, cross-games, because you can now attach ownership to these things and make a giant gaming marketplace. I think it's a pretty cool system they've got going on, and then I highly recommend digging into it and looking at the code. If you search on Twitter for Wu-Tang, GitHub, GameStop NFT, you'll find the links to that stuff. It's pretty interesting. They have a lot of placeholders in there currently for early minted NFTs, like practice NFTs that just say like GameStop, power the player, and things like that. So I think it's something to definitely look into and see what's going on there. For sure. Okay. There's a lot of question marks in this one. And they're yelling at me. Stock market apes, what happens if the shorts would get margin called and they were able to meet the requirements? Does that mean no MOASS? Sort of. Depends on the stocks involved. If there's a forced recall, like GME is taking their shares out of the DTCC, then every share must be purchased regardless of margin requirements. They have to buy those shares. They've got to clear those books. They have to close those positions. That's it. They have no choice. If it's a share that's a tag along, your PRAGUE, right? PRAGUE spiked in early January and then it went down a little bit, spiking a little bit right now. If it's an also ran like that, it might not have the diabolical fundamentals of forcing a recall and removing the stock from the DTCC itself. Then they can probably meet those margin requirements. That's probably why we've been seeing Berkshire Hathaway stock do weird things after hours. Did it do another one today? It did 50%, 15%, 2%. Anything today? Let's go to BRK. Okay, see what's up. No pops today. No weird explosions of price today. So whoever was doing that weird price manipulation must have learned their lesson, because the price is actually lower now than it was when they started doing that. It was at 437 and now it's down to 432. Weird stuff. I mean, 6 shares traded and changed the value of that thing so many times. Weird. They own Geico and Dairy Queen? Huh. All right. Strange. Tyranzik. Did you see that Citadel opened $330 million in call options at AMC? That's how they make naked shorts, man. They pulled those things out of thin air, and that's what they do. They just minted a whole bunch of naked shorts to drive that price down, and that's what they're doing because they're just evil that way. Last hot sauce. What happened to my super chat? Did you last hot sauce have a super chat in here, Monty? Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. Sometimes my brain doesn't quite see them if I'm chit-chatting. Last hot sauce. The release of NFT Marketplace Q4 won't trigger MOASS. Dividends tokens are just speculation. Any other way to trigger MOASS? Market collapse. That'll do it. Retail all of a sudden getting piles of cash again and just jumping in and increasing ownership. I mean, in the documents that were released last week by the SEC, they talked about how GameStop went from 10,000 owners to 900,000 owners in a matter of days. 900,000 owners in a matter of days. So it went up 90 times, 9,000%. So, if there's some other trigger, some FOMO that can kick that in there, yes. If naked short selling is finally made illegal and enforced, that can do it. If market makers lose their ability to naked short, that could do it. But these are things that probably won't get fixed until post MOASS, or until this is such a headache for everyone that they can't deal with it anymore, and they go, pull that Band-Aid and let it rip. So that's where we are there. Last hot sauce. Yeah. Hey, Marcel's in here. Boss Blunts. How's it going, man? Yeah, I forget to do the like and subscribe. Hit the like and subscribe button. Ring the bell. Go to the Patreon. Send me weird shit to my PO box. Those are the things. I like to see what weird things you guys send me. I need to do a shirt. I need to do a show with my weird shirt that I got. Probably a Twitch show is one I'll wear that one. The Lothario Cowboy T-shirt. I think it's a book the guy wrote. Cool. He's got goofy books on Amazon. Okay. Josh Young says, if your beliefs are so far left, shouldn't you give most of your MOASS money to the poor? Yeah, that's exactly what I plan to do. So there you go. All right. Did I miss any other super chats in here? I got Oat Milk. I got Space Monkey. I got Josh Young. I got Monty. There we go. Yes. Okay. I didn't miss any other super chats there. Sweet. Oh, Stock Market Apes sent a little super chat. Thank you, Stock Market Apes. But no question involved. You can always ask a question in there. BTW brand, brokers do not buy our shares and it causes them to crumble. Does it seem correct that the most we can get in that instance is the maximum amount our accounts are insured for? Yeah, but why would a broker not go through and buy your shares? Someone's got to do it. And there's a bunch of money changing hands, and that's their job. So you should be able to sue the shit out of them and get whatever assets under management they have in settlements. So I don't think there's going to be a big conspiracy for a lot of brokerages. Some brokerages may completely collapse if they're payment for order flow based and they don't have any other systems to work with. But your big groups like Fidelity, they're fine. They're their own clearinghouse. They've got $4 trillion in assets under management. They're heavy on GME and AMC. They own a whole bunch of those shares in those mutual funds. So I wouldn't worry about any of those guys going under. Your Robinhoods, on the other hand, which are margined like crazy, them and Webull, they may run into trouble. Interactive brokers. Who else? Schwab, I think, had some trouble in those days. So I would worry about those guys, but not the big ones who are their own clearinghouses. Okay. All right. Jonathan Deal, I only have 7 GME shares. How much will they be worth realistically? Well, there's realistically, there's theoretically, and then there's the chosen few. Basically, they're worth whatever you are willing to part with them for. So, you know, if you cave and sell at $10,000, then they're worth $10,000. That's it. If you stick with it and hold out, and are willing to enter that infinity pool, sky's the limit. But again, like there'll be an absolute peak this thing trades at. You know, it'll bounce and it'll drop and it'll bounce and it'll drop and it'll be in the squeeze zone for days. That's why short squeezes work. They work over a matter of days. And there'll be times when people are like, woohoo, I sold for a lot. Oh, crap, I got screwed. Woohoo, I sold for a lot. Oh, crap, I got screwed. But there'll be some monumental, absolute, terrible monster peak way, way up there. And inside the tippy top of that triangle will be like one fractional share or one share that sells for just an absolutely stupid amount of money because some buying computer was being forced to close anything that was available, and that was the only share available. And it had a limit order for $100 million or something silly like that. And that's going to be our God King, and he shall rule us all, or she. And we'll bow down to them and write long blogs hailing their wizardry and genius. And we will paint pictures and murals and erect statues of their likeness as the king or queen of the MOASS. And I hope it's you. I hope it's me. I hope it's anyone else who's out there that's watching and taking part in this. But someone is going to be the tippy top. Someone is. When the price hit 480, on the 28th, there were fractional shares that were selling for the equivalent of $5,000 a share at that time. So there are ways to do that and make an absolute killing doing that. So it's out there, it's happening. So if you're with your 7 shares, if you're doing what I do, what I'm planning on doing, which is climb the ladder, sell for 100,000, next one you sell for 150, next one you sell for 225, next one you sell for 337, next one you sell for 5, whatever it is. By your 7th share, you're selling over $1 million a share. You've got several $1 million set up. Cool. You may not have that luxury with so few shares. You may be looking for infinity pool. You might sell 1 share just so you can cover your cost basis, and you got 6 shares left for the infinity pool to sit there and let the price go silly stupid. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be that one lucky SOB who sells at the absolute peak. Okay. Boss Blunt's writing about the documentary. I wasn't a huge fan of the CNBC documentary. I feel it's way too downplayed GME. Oh, both. They make apes feel comfortable and CNBC lies about MOASS the next round. Your thoughts, brother? I haven't seen the whole thing. I only saw a couple of clips earlier, but I find it strange that they talk about like the GME short squeeze, and then they say that the AMC apes are the ones who cracked everything. Like, the person who cracked everything was one dude. It was DFV a year and a half ago. He's the guy who cracked everything. And everyone else slowly started picking up what he's laying down and going, oh, I'm driving with that. And then everyone's just bebopping and scatting all over the place. It was just jazz after that, baby. So, the FOMO of folks realizing what was happening in January is what cracked the code. They went, oh my gosh, if every person on the internet jumps in on this thing and buys a bunch of these shares and just goes, mine, and holds on to them like Gollum, then there's nothing they can do. There was this click around the world you could just hear as that happened. And the FOMO of buying that stuff was about to kill all these mutual funds, or not mutual funds, hedge funds. And so we're just, we're basking in that glory. But I don't know why. I think they catered it specifically to AMC folks because the AMC folks are a larger audience. They are. They're just a larger audience because post baby squeeze, it was a much more reasonable price than GameStop. So it was a lower barrier to entry. And so more folks jumped on the AMC bandwagon because there's more shares available. It was $5 a share at one point. And they're able to get that stuff super cheap and rocket from there. So you have a larger AMC audience out there than there is a GameStop audience generally. And maybe that's what CNBC was doing about that. But I got to finish watching the whole thing. So I'm only able to watch it for like brief periods on the bus while I was traveling to school this morning and back. So I'm gonna have to dive deeper and see what it's all about. But they didn't really talk about GME much. It was weird. It's weird thing to do. It's really strange, like the financial groups, the financial networks, they go, oh my gosh, GME. And then they just stop talking about GME and they talk about AMC for months and months and months and months and months. And there's a window where they won't mention AMC and they'll talk about GME for a few days. And then they'll go back to like AMC. It's really strange why they can't, it's like the two can't exist in the same universe at the same time. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. It's weird. Okay. Get up there, dog. Get up there, monkey butt. There you go. All right. CT Moon says, hey, brother, I posted a theory about springs on our AMC stock. Did you get a chance to see it? No. Tag me in it, and I'll take a look. I don't spend much time on Reddit these days, so because I spent more time when I didn't really have anything to do last year. I'm on Reddit. I don't spend as much time right now. Last winter. So tag me, and that's pretty much the way I see things on Reddit now. It's just tag. It's user Houstman, and that's how I'll see. Lee Meadows asks, what's your thoughts on GoTo stock? I have no thoughts on GoTo stock. Sorry. I'll have to look them up. Don't know a thing. William Morgan says, Torch shareholders are still waiting on their dividend payment. Many other stocks have the same issue. I just heard from one of my Twitter followers that 212 in the UK finally gave everybody their Torch preferred shares. Now the MMTLP, the Metamaterials Torchlight preferred shares. Yeah. That they finally received those after being told they weren't going to get them, and everyone was complaining, and now they finally got them. So they have to issue a cash dividend or convert those shares into a new company by 11:59 p.m. on December 31st. So before midnight, before New Year's, they have to do one or the other. So that's what we're sitting on. We've got several 100,000 acres of oil fields that are currently in the money for production. They either need to sell or turn into an oil company. So we've got time. We got that. We got BBig offering their dividend sometime, and then we've got GameStop doing their NFT thing sometime, and then we got those big three waiting for this quarter. And any other big ones that might be coming up? Thing I would think of. Yeah. Apple missed its earnings. That's interesting. It's like first time ever missed its earnings. Way to go, Apple. JS, if the supply chains totally collapse, could that trigger MOASS? Well, it can't hurt or help the economy if the supply chain totally collapses. Folks are having a hard time finding certain things on shelves. They're filling up. It used to be go to the grocery store, you might see like one long shelf of candy, but now there's like 5 rows of candy. They're figuring out ways to fill up the shelves and with fake asparagus and weird stuff like that. So that supply chain issue is going to be a big deal. Oh, dang it, the chat always resets. That bugs the shit out of me. YouTube, stop resetting my chat when I do a light scroll down. All right. Will a meteor cause MOASS? Will a tidal wave from La Palma cause MOASS? Will space aliens cause MOASS? Anything at this point. Butterfly wings out somewhere on a tropical island, triggering the seeds of a hurricane, making MOASS happen. Yeah. I think what will trigger MOASS in the end is the fact that we bought and we held and we're holding. I am running out of water. I'm getting low. Monkey Butt's going to have to go get me another glass. I had to do a lot of walking today. That's a long walk to the ferry. It's a long walk from the ferry to the bus stop. It's a long walk from the bus stop to the college and back again. And then I stand up and I pontificate for like 3 hours in class. And then I got to pontificate again to you guys. My voice gets shredded on Fridays. Yeah. Okay. Where's my money? I don't know yet. Kith says CNBC doc expert didn't seem to know about in the money, out of the money calls and puts in regards to short interest. Either non-expert or a liar. Yeah. That's kind of how a lot of these guys do, is that they focus on one little thing and they ignore all the other like loopholes out here. They won't, in the SEC filing report, they didn't talk at all about these deep in the money calls and puts. They just went by, these hedge funds said they closed their positions. Here, look at figure 6. And then figure 6 shows there's no physical way that the volume of trades they made closed any positions. When retail is like just mountains of trades above them. So no, they didn't close positions, but they're like, we took their word at it, which to me is Gary Gensler's wink to GameStop. He's going, a wink, and have at it, issue your NFT, because obviously these guys say they closed, therefore you can't possibly be trying to trigger MOASS, a short squeeze, because they said they closed. They said that they closed their positions. Therefore, your NFT cannot be construed to be triggering a short squeeze. So go for it. And when it triggers a short squeeze, then everyone gets to say, oh, these guys lied. And since they lied and you helped them, DTCC Clearinghouse, give us our shares. We're out of here. So that's my feeling from the way that they put the blinders on in that report. And I was originally pissed off a lot at seeing them, ignore big things that people have found with equity swaps and debt swaps and resets and naked shorting and all these things. They basically just said, no, the hedge funds told us again and again they closed their position. They told us under oath that they closed their positions. Open season, GameStop. And that's where we're sitting. So, yeah, there's I think a big nudge and a wink that was coming from Gary Gensler and company to those folks. All right. CNBC expert was funded by market makers. Yeah, probably. Most of that stuff isn't written by those guys. I mean, you can look at those interviews of Jim Cramer. He's saying, hey, yeah, you want to make some money at this? All you do is you take a check from someone who's short selling and you badmouth the stock for them. Yeah, done. Pish posh. So they do it. They'll work whatever side they can because they want their own cheese. Who doesn't want their cheese? Dr. Magento says SHIB is being pushed way too hard. I'm skeptical. Like the OG game, people for AMC. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get these pump and dumps. That's what I was saying back in early June, late May. That's why I dumped, money into every single shit coin I could find that was trading at just like micro fractions of a micro fraction, because every single one of them is going to pump at some point. They're going to explode out of nowhere. And the way people have been coming on talking about Saitama coin, so there's 100 quadrillion Saitama coins in existence. It's trading at like 0.00000000006 or something ridiculous. Let's actually look it up real quick, because Gecko Trade will have it. Saitama Inu coin. There we go. So yeah, so we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decimal places. The 8th is 7. So we're at 10,000ths of what Shiba Inu is currently trading at. But Shiba Inu, December of last year, was 12 zeros. It was 12 digits before you got to a 1 in December. So you could buy, I think if you bought $1,000 in Shiba Inu in December, right now it's around $700 million. We're looking at 65 to 100 million% gains for Shiba Inu since then. It's absolutely just stupid. And there's still 600 trillion of the coins. 600 trillion. People are saying, oh, Shiba Inu to a penny. That's going to be, like $6 trillion market cap. That's insane for a meme of a meme coin. And this is a meme of a meme of a meme coin. But people are talking about it. And they're talking about it. And talking about it. And the price has already gone up 6%. And it's since I started the show. Because I had this screen up earlier. That was, yeah. So, these folks, you can only get it by trading Ethereum at the moment. So they're getting a bunch of Ethereum for people for a coin they just minted 100 trillion of. They're happy. The Saitama folks, they've made $3 billion so far, right? So the total market cap's $3 billion. They'll probably start the big holders will probably start burning like crazy. They'll burn a whole bunch of it and start driving the price way up so that some giant wallet that's still there will be worth a lot. And you'll see so we're at 44 million billion is how many Saitama there is. Yeah, so just count those zeros. Hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, 100 quadrillion. 10 to the 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 10 to the 17th. That's a lot of zeros to be dealing with. So, but, it'll pop. They always do. There's some hedge fund out there that will pump this sucker, and the price will skyrocket. And if you're holding enough of it at the right time, you might be able to sell out and make a nice, pretty penny out of it. So why not? Why not take advantage of that? Because it's all fake. It's all fake money. Okay. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Tag me on the link Twitter. Cool. CT Moon. I'll check it out. The last hot sauce with his big question marks. How do you make those big question marks? You said MOASS will last a few days. If there's a 1.2 billion minimum share cover, it would take 30 business days. So MOASS would go on for that long? Maybe. But we had, I think the highest volume day, there was a day in March where like 190 million shares traded. So 190, that's, if there's 1.2 billion and there's 190 million shares trading and it's just the trading computers doing volume like that, then it can take maybe 10 days. If there's a significant number of people who are in the infinity pool and are just refusing, they're absolutely just refusing to sell, then we may see it last all the way from share recall to the actual recall date, that 90-day window. It may just take forever. Like any homework assignment, people procrastinate and put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off. A lot of these hedge funds are figuring out how long they can put the stuff off before it's like, oh no, my assignment is due tomorrow. And, the couple of days before the share recall's final, they may just be like, that's it, we're done, and jump in that way. Bullish, HW, I'm in Zoot. Saitama, Shiba, at least 5 to 10x on them, so your strategy does work. All this while waiting on AMC and GME. Yeah, they get pumped at one time or another. You can look, like, it's great. One thing I like about crypto.com. So crypto.com, you hit like the tracker and it just shows like every possible coin out there, even ones they don't trade. And you can select and make like the year to dates for all of them. And you can see month by month, these things trigger, go slam a jamma, slam a jamma, slam a jamma. And they trigger and the price skyrockets on them, 300%, 3,000%, 30,000% in a matter of days. And it's all pump and dump. And some of them are being pumped and dumps from the hedge funds themselves, like CXC coin. This is the one that was trading for 9 cents a coin. It wasn't available on any major exchange. And then a hedge fund and option house traded it back and forth for a 3-hour period on some Friday in April and pumped it from 9 cents to $3,000 in 3 hours, and all of a sudden had a $400 billion market cap. That was definitely somebody meeting margin requirements for assets under management with that sucker. So, they'll use that. If you happen to be holding one of those coins, get out while you can, and enjoy a beach somewhere. Matt Newton, do you think Biden and the other Democratic socialists will step in and set a price ceiling for GME shares during MOASS to protect their elite overlords? No. I don't. That's a weird way of wording that. But no, I don't think the government's going to step in and set a price ceiling. I think they're fully willing to let these folks bite the dust. Imagine you had a terrible boss, right? You had a terrible boss. You don't like them very much. You got to do what they say. And you find out something. You find out that, like, I don't know, they knocked over a convenience store, and you've got that power in your hands to just report them and then never bother you again. Now, switch that to a whole bunch of corporate dicks that have been bothering you for years, telling you how to do things, being a jerk to you, and you've got the opportunity to watch them just get vaporized. are you going to just watch them get vaporized? I think you are. Why? Because on one side, you have other powerful people who want them vaporized. And on the other side, you got the ones who are going to be vaporized. Which side are you going to pick? It's game theory time. You know that these guys can die, and these guys can become even greater elite overlords. You don't need to have two masters anymore. You can be like, die, a bunch of weird yuppie scum, and then these guys will rule. At least you got rid of half of your problems. And you made foreign investors happy. You let the market do what it's going to do. It now allows you to go in and actually set the rules to stop this stuff from happening in the future. You made a whole bunch of folks, a bunch of millionaires and billionaires who can then be like, hey, I was a millionaire and billionaire under your watch. Here's a bunch of money for your campaign in the future. I think it's I don't think they're going to step in and set a price. I just don't think that they're going to do that. I think everyone's prepared for this thing to go bonkers, and what they've got in the waiting is a whole bunch of new rules to go in post-mortem and fix it all. Okay. Hayden J. Real Estate. Can you imagine investing in SHIB, going to jail for 1 year and coming out a millionaire? Oh. That's the thing. It's gonna, if we do switch to crypto, it's gonna make bank heists way more boring. I have 100 billion sand. Christopher Bursow asks, Mr. Wade, how will society look like after MOASS? I think a lot of folks will be hurting because MOASS means liquidation. Liquidation means a dumping of shares of traditional blue chip stocks and other securities. And that means investment plummets. That means credit crunch. That means people lose jobs and lose homes and things like that. So there's going to be a lot of folks who are going to be on the wrong side of this, who had nothing to do with this, and they're going to be hurting. They're going to be wondering, why the hell I lost my job? Why the hell did I lose my house? What the hell? Why is this? What is crypto coin? What is MOASS? What are all these terms being thrown around? Because they just go about their day, do their work, watch their TV shows, and live their life without thinking about any of these things. Those of us who are on this inside knowledge and the lingo, and we're learning about it, talk about it all day, every day, we can see this future out on the horizon, whereas everyone else, it doesn't have a thought in their mind. We might be the sucker fish attached to the shark, but there's schools of fish out there who are going to get eaten by the shark, and we're going to nibble on them as well. So there's going to be some obliteration. But on the plus side, there's going to be, you've got your trust fund billionaires whose great-grandfather are the ones that earn the fortune, and they just take that pile of money and they just give it to their Gabe Plotkins of the world and they go and do stuff with it, Gabe. And then Gabe's going to lose it all, and we're going to have a host of 1%ers who suddenly have to find jobs all the Schitt's Creek, and it's going to be pretty marvelous to see. So they might at least, sustain on some schadenfreude from that. The hedge fund guys themselves, I think a lot of them probably offshored cash, but they may just live in non-extradition countries after this. So, yeah. What we got? 9 o'clock my time. I got maybe half an hour to go before my voice is absolutely just toast. I've only got like 3/4 of an inch of water left in my glass. Okay. Let's see here. Doesn't SHIB have 6 trillion coins? SHIB has 600 trillion coins. 600 trillion. Originally there was 1 quadrillion minted, and then what's his name? The dude, the Russian guy that made Ethereum, starts with a V. I can't remember his name. So the creator of SHIB gave that guy like 90% of all the SHIB coins in existence. And then the Ethereum creator took those SHIB coins, destroyed 90% of those, and then gave the rest to a group fighting COVID in India. I was like, here, have these coins, whatever. And that group spent the last year slow selling it, or the last, 8 or 9 months slow selling it. And they finally just finished converting all those coins into hard currency. And that's when we started seeing the price spikes, because the coins were slowly entering the market that way. And Vitalik, thank you. That's the name I was looking for. DA got the drops. Thank you. Again with the names. The names hurt me. And so he burned 90% of it, gave that 10% to the charity in India, and then that charity slowly sold over the last 10 months to get hard currency out of it. And now they stopped selling, and we're seeing the price start to skyrocket. And then we've got folks that are long-term holders, and they've been burning SHIB like crazy, trying to reduce the amount that's circulation to make the price keep going up. BTW brand, Houston probably can't tell you much about an engine other than you put gas and diesel in it. A little bit wrong there, my friend. I am a Petro-head. I've restored 1988 Subaru XT6, a 1988 Corvette convertible, 1991 Ford Taurus SHO, built my badass war rig that's top of the line. Oh, the engine exploded, so that sucked. But I'm a Petro-head. I can tell you every part of an engine. I can take one apart and my eyes closed, put it back together again. All right. Oh, Get Real says, look at my phone. Look at my phone. What we got? Oh, I missed a Manny Mecha chat. Sorry. All right. Okay. Manny Mecha chat. Scrolling. Matt Newton, bullish. Manny. Where are you? I'm scrolling. Stonks. I don't see a Manny Mecha chat. Bullish. Matt Newton. Sorry, Manny, can you someone post what it was? I don't see what it is in here if I missed a super chat from somebody. My scrolling up only takes me so far. I only get back to 8:27 p.m. It only goes back about half an hour, and I can't scroll any higher than that. So, Manny, sorry if I missed your super chat. I cannot see it. I'm looking. See Monty, William, Marcel, Poirier. Sorry, scrolling. I'm not seeing a Manny in here. If I see it pop up at the bottom, I will try to give it some due credence there. Sorry about that. Okay. June Swift, what are some good options for purchasing gold on Fidelity? Fidelity, I think you can do gold mutual funds. You can do those gold ETFs. I don't remember the names of any of them because I don't participate, but we can look it up. Let's go. I got SPDR, GLD, IAU, GDLM. So there's quite a few of them. And they just buy precious metals. Oh, I don't have my screen on here. So there's quite a few of them. There's a whole list here. This is from ETF database. So gold, IAU, GDLM, GLDM, SGOLL, OL, BAR. There's a whole bunch of them. Lots of AUs. Lots of AUs and golds in here. But year till date, not doing that well. Not doing that hot. They're down because the market keeps doing well. The market keeps going to records when it shouldn't. So gold's going to take a dip, which means it's a good buy to get. You're going to want to buy gold while the market's hot. And then you got it for when the market tanks and everyone jumps into gold after freaking out and selling everything. So that's your sign that the market's in a bubble, I think. Big Houston. Okay. Let me see if I can scroll back and get some questions. I did miss like 6 feet of questions here. Adam Watkins, any news on the Sears shares? No. I haven't heard anything about their most recent court. Sears Holding Court. October 15th, Sears Holding Corporation. Early this morning. So the 15th was when their thing was. So go there. Go there, petition11.com. Early this morning, Sears Holding Company, approximately 49 affiliated entities, including Kmart, finally filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Oh, that's 2018. That's old. That's not news. Never mind. News. Give me news. Sears Holding is not coming up at all. Nine hours ago, shuttered Sears, the 17 box stores you can no longer shop at in Jacksonville. Man who rated Sears for its real estate riches 1 week ago. Okay. All right. That's Batty Lampert. And then nothing about their... They think that a hearing on the 27th. So that was what, Wednesday? I haven't heard anything about that yet. No news has come out so far that I can search. So no news on Sears. None. My guess is it's just going to be a long haul until they finally are done paying off whatever they have to pay. I think they had $81 million or something they still had to pay on whatever outstanding debt they had. And after that, then it goes into special dividend territory. Or whatever's left. Okay. Kelly Jenkins says, I missed a super chat from Manny Mecca. If anyone can see the super chat from Manny Mecca, put it back in there and I'll try to answer it. So, sorry. Manny Mecca. I apologize, Manny. Oh, sent to my Twitter DM. Thank you. I will look in the Twitter DM so I can answer Manny's question. I'm sorry, Manny. I'm a dick. I get talking and then I miss something. Here's from Kelly. It is, I heard AMC is actually not cheaper to buy than GME because of the float. Can you elaborate on this and where do you see GME, AMC in the future? I would say there's two reasons that make AMC cheaper than GME. One is fundamentals and the other is float. So GME is a company that does $5-6 billion in business a year. And it's on a path to Web 3.0 in a way that others aren't. So it's now an e-commerce company. It's now a .com. They do have brick and mortars, but they are now an e-commerce company that are moving into Web 3.0 with a lot of growth and a lot of cash on hand. So they've got $1.5 billion in cash and no debt. Their debt is gone. Oops. They can issue dividends. They can do all sorts of things they didn't have the power to do before when they were trapped under $600 million in debt. And you know, companies that make $5 to $6 billion a year in sales, they're largely have their market cap somewhere around $30 to $50 billion. That's how it works. You kind of multiply that sucker by, 6 to 10 times, and there you are. AMC is a company that does like $1.5 billion a year in sales and has a boatload. They have like $5 billion in debt. They've got a ton of debt. And as far as we can see, when they've done big sales of stock, they haven't used that stock to pay down their debt yet. And so that's one issue, one problem they have. Plus, they can't. The state they're registered in does not allow them to issue dividends without first not getting out from under their debt. They'd be out from under their debt first. They have to be in the black to be able to issue dividends. So they can't quite do the same cornering tactics that GME can at this point. And they've got 10 times the float of GameStop, and that's a big change also. So, I don't see them having a price go as high. I think GameStop will be at least 10 times higher at its peak than AMC will, at least 10 times higher. Because we also have the fact that the GME board are diabolical demons who are going to crush and destroy the hedge funds any chance they get for the sake of they're pissed and they want to. And that's different than, the brosifs who run AMC, who are buddies with all these guys, and they went to business school and played golf with them and, did that stuff. So the retail people are driving everything for AMC at the moment. But the GME folks, they got retail on one side and they got the board on the other, and they're just like, I'm with you, brother. And that's where they're going from. So, Monty, I hope I answered that. Not Monty, Mac? Sorry, messed up the name already. Manny Mecca. There, Manny Mecca. Sorry, Manny. But thank you. Sorry, Mr. Chat. I feel like a doofus for missing that. Travis Wright 13. How bad do you think food access will get with ongoing supply chain issues around the world? Time to stock up on cans and beans? Happy birthday. Yeah, well, probably won't be a bad idea. I mean, not only do we have supply chain issues and shipping problems in general, but we've got folks all over the world who have died, right? They've died and they're not coming back. And we also have a problem of we don't have enough people to cultivate the food in America, especially. Like the breadbasket of America, 90% of farm workers are immigrants. And we are very hostile to immigrants right now. And a lot of them are no longer working in farms. So we don't have the workers to pick peaches and drive combines and fertilize things and give animals antibiotics and milk animals and pick the eggs and do all sorts of stuff in agriculture that were traditionally being done 90% by immigrants in this country. And if we don't have the people to pick the food, then the food's just going to rot in the fields. So we've got to figure out somehow to get people to work there. And if that means paying them more so that people who aren't immigrants take those jobs, then food's going to get a lot more expensive, which means the government's going to have to do subsidies and all sorts of stuff to keep the food prices down, because you don't want food inflation, because then everyone's screwed. And all of a sudden we are Weimar Republic and we're like paying for loaves of bread with buckets full of Deutschmarks. So, yeah, we're in a weird spot with the supply chain right now. I feel glad that at least I can, I don't know, go strangle a Canada goose or something, eat that. They got crabs and clams for days out there. And so I can at least, get my protein in me. I won't have any fruits this time of year. But yeah, supply issues, it's probably a good thing to start looking at. I mean, we're going to be in our Mad Max future soon. Okay. Okay, let's go back and find some chats here. That I can tell it's a long day because my eyes everything's getting blurry. Friday's the only day I have to wake up in the morning. Every other day of the week I can be my normal astronomer self and like night owl it all night long. But Fridays I have to actually be up in the morning and do my commute. And my body's like, you did not do this for like a year and a half. What are you doing? Why are you waking up? What? There's an alarm. This is evil. But yeah. So like, I'm like a little grandma at 9 o'clock at night on Fridays. BTW Brand says China claims to have a quantum computer that wrecks the current power of Google and IBM supercomputers. Seem possible? Very much so. There's a list that came out of supercomputers, and the most powerful ones are all in China right now. Most power. I can't type. Powerful computers. 7 most powerful computers of all time. Here we go. This updated in August. So let's see. No, it looks like U.S. taking some back. Oops, gotta put Uganda in here. Behemoth can crunch numbers like nothing else. So we got Fugaku in Japan. That's a big one. 7 million cores. 537,000 teraflops. Summit Oak Ridge, 200,000. Sunway Taiyu Light. Where's this one? China, 125,000. So US climbed back up there. That's US, China. So China's got 2 of those. Most powerful. What's most powerful? Computers. So Zukongji is a non-peer-reviewed paper released last month led by Pan Jianwei, physicist from the University of Science Technology China. 66 qubit. Whoa. Damn. And just last year we were like bragging about 3 qubit computers. So here we go. 66 qubit. I can't imagine trying to program a 66 qubit computer. You're going to need like AI to do all the programming for you because that just sounds nuts. So Google has their 54 qubit and then China just came back with a 66. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Well, we are in a computer race right now. So, yeah, get it. Get it while you can. Truck nerd, what engine are you putting into the 4x4 after MOASS? Probably a diesel this time. I wouldn't mind getting like a Cummins 4-banger. They've got some pretty cool Overlander 4-bangers that have lots of low-end torque and get fantastic gas mileage. I saw one they put into a Jeep Wrangler. It's a little bit. It's lighter than the Montero, but they're getting like 36 miles per gallon with 250 pounds of torque at like 1,000 RPMs. Thing was nuts. I don't need top speed. I just need something that gets good gas mileage and can get me over things. So that's it. I mean, if I could get, I've got a 30-gallon tank in there right now, which can net me like 450, 500 miles per tank, which is enough to, that's, 3/4 of a day of driving on long driving days. But if I could have a 30-gallon tank and get 30 miles per gallon and do 900 to 1,000 miles per tank, oh, baby, that would be amazing. Oh, and then I could switch the cooking range in the back from propane to diesel. I can use a catalytic converter for that and do a diesel cooking setup. Then I don't have to carry propane, which opens up a whole bunch of room in the car. And I can even do a catalytic heater. So I sleep at night in like March when it's 9 degrees outside in the Oregon Outback. I can still be warm and not die from the fumes or have like all that water vapor from propane just filling up everything. Oh, that'd be wonderful. So yeah, I'm probably going to go with a diesel. That's the way to go. I mean, that's what the Earth Roamers have. Earth Roamers are diesel everything. They got 90-gallon tanks, and the fridge runs off diesel when it's not on battery power. The stove runs off diesel. The heater runs off diesel, and it all goes through catalytic converters, and they're pretty awesome. Yes. This is my last sip right here. I am now out in the desert. Arun Nagarajan. Hope I'm saying that right. Apologize if I'm saying it wrong. If you don't mind asking me, what are you, a X or XX or XXX or XXXX holder of GME? I have like 76 shares and change of GME, so I'm not an XXX holder. I was not wealthy enough when I jumped in, and I've been, scalping and getting what I can out of it, doing some deals since then. But, I'm up like everyone else. I think my average buy right now is at like 97 for GME. I got my first shares around 38, right at the bottom after February, in February. But I'm trying to add more as I go along. And I think in my original I had 21 shares or something. It's my original investment. Monty, my super chat for tonight. Should I buy a Bentley or Porsche once I receive my money after MOASS? It depends on which Bentley or Porsche you're going to get, right? Me, I am all about whatever the girls want me to drive. Bentley Continentals are pretty sexy. But then again, so is a Porsche GT3, 2005 Porsche GT3. I'd drive that. I'd drive the shit out of that. Yeah. I don't know. I like older cars. I love the cars of my childhood that are slow as shit and I'm in awe of. Those are the ones that I will have the world's greatest 80s car collection in a shitty pole built garage building barn, and I will drool over my XT6s and SHOs and SVXs and all those cars. So everyone's like, look at that guy. He's just a 30-year-old piece of shit. I'm like, I love it so much. Shitbox Nation all the way. I'm all about those crappy cars you get for cheap at auction. But thank you, Monty. I love the Bentley Continental that had the hydraulic suspension when they went to the Australian outback and they herded sheep with it, and they were able to like lift it in 4x4 across the desert. That was pretty sexy, I have to admit. And then they safaried the Continental for the Madagascar trip for Grand Tour, and that thing's a sexy beast as well. The roll cage, and ooh, I love it. All right, so thoughts on turbos versus superchargers. I mean, they make cool sounds. Superchargers generally don't break down as often as turbos do, but you have to suck a lot of power to get them to working, whereas turbochargers use the passive energy of the exhaust to make those things spin. But I like really powerful natural aspirated personally. I like in the Corvette, it was a L98 1988 convertible, and you can change out the intake. You put a Vortec intake manifold on it, right? So you put a Vortec intake manifold on it, change out the cams, and all of a sudden you bump that thing like 200 horsepower with just doing two things to it. So, the problem with those L98s is that they had just a boatload of torque at the low end, and then they would max out at like 5,000 RPMs. And so, changing the cams, you can keep a lot of that torque, jump the horsepower from 250 to 450 like that. And then all of a sudden you got yourself a beast that's going to hum at way higher RPMs. You do need to get an adapter if you're going to put a Vortec intake on it. But you can also go for a mini ram and see bigger gains that fit to that L98 style. But Vortec headers, great way to go too if you're going to swap out the whole top end of one of those things and see another 150 horsepower just from that alone. And the Vortec headers were game changer. That's what led to the LSs that have come along since. And those things are bulletproof and they generate insane amount of power. My brother's got a Z06 or had a Z06. He sold it recently. That's a 2008. Thing's 505 horsepower from the factory. You can do like 36 miles per gallon. Like 6 gear. You put that thing in and the engine's like ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And the car's just flying down the road because there's so much horsepower behind it. The engines have come so far in the last few years about how much power and how gas sipping they are. It's insane. If we had this technology in the 1970s, we wouldn't have all these weird, underpowered 500 cubic inch engines in Cadillacs that got 8 miles per gallon and pumped out 95 horsepower. I think it's beautiful right as the combustion engine is going to be coming to an end. Just how perfect we finally made them. Then we should have had this technology going for the last 50 years on them, and we wouldn't be in the oil mess we're in. But how much of that is new engineering versus finally revealing all the technology that they stole in the past. Like, I'm wondering if they're ever going to see a vapor carburetor put on a factory engine or not. I don't know, they moved on to the direct injection, all those things from then. Okay. All right. So I got 5 minutes, folks, and then I'm going to fall asleep forever. Or at least till sometime. All right. DBSs are sexy. They're grape ape. I just watched last night. My roommate and I watched Casino Royale again, and that DBS, just a sexy car. It didn't really get to do. It got flipped in no time, but man, they're so pretty. If you're gonna get an Aston Martin, the flappy paddles don't work very well on those things. So get a stick shift if you can. That's the way to go. I'll talk cars. We can turn this into a car talk channel. People are like, I don't give a shit about cars. Oh no, I have to drip. But man, I'll talk about cars all day. JH says LS is nice unless it's been swapped into an RX-7. Oh no, keep those rotary engines rotary, man. Winkle all day. I love the weirdness of those engines. When Mazda was racing those cars in the 80s, they were destroying everybody. Those rotary engines, I mean, they're like 1.7 liters. They're pumping out 1,000 horsepower, and they're just killing it on the SCCA tracks. I don't know why Mazda stopped the racing teams. They were just destroying it with those little rotary engines. Man, they've been cool. Rusty Nail, Houston, we shouldn't go EV. You love petrol. I do love my petrol. That's my biggest flaw. Is that I originally went to school to become an automotive engineer. That's why I went to school. That was my original goal, was to do engineering at UC San Diego and design cars. But then I got hit by a car and left for dead. And life takes you off in different directions. That's not in this room. It's in the other room. I'll bring them out. I'll in one of the filing cabinets, I've got all my car designs from when I was like 13 years old and I was obsessed. I just draw them all the time. And I had all sorts of cars. I wanted to create a supercar company called Vendetta Automotives. And I thought it was cool. I named all my cars after different weird flowers, and yeah. But oof. Yeah. Okay, what do we got here? Matt Newton, props in the SHO. The Space Shuttle. The 1991 Ford Taurus SHO, I think is the most fun car I owned. It was cheap. I bought it for like $1,500. Another $1,000, and the thing was tuned up and just cherry. Had under 100,000 miles on it. And stick shift and a sleeper Ford Taurus with a highly tuned Yamaha engine in it. I love that car. It was fantastic. Yeah. I would get another 1990s SHO in a heartbeat and drive that thing around. It was so much fun. Just screamed. I mean, having a front wheel drive sleeper Ford Taurus sedan that when you gunned it, the hood would lift up. Like that. It's like the front wheels wanted to detach from the entire body. The car was just trying to get away from the power. It was fun. Rusty Nail, whoa, you can't just say get hit by a car and left for dead without a story. Not much story to it. I was living down in San Diego. We could bring up Google Earth. No one gave me any Google Earth signs this time around. Okay, so let's get to San Diego. Scrolling out. Leaving Washington. Let's go to San Diego. Los Angeles, San Diego. All right. So we've got Mission Beach down here. So it's Mission Beach here and Pacific Beach. And I was living in a little rental house. Let's see here. Where's the fairgrounds? Yeah, about there's fairgrounds, right? So go north. I was in a little house. Actually, if you watch the latest season, I'm not kidding. If you watch the latest season of Veronica Mars, that was on Hulu, I think, her house was my house. 3, 5, 3551 Oceanfront Walk, I think is what it was. Is that right? 3551? Oh man, it's 20 years ago. 3551 Oceanfront Walk. I think that was it. I think this is the one. Is that the one I'm thinking of? 3551. Doesn't look like it. No. That's a lot of solar panels. It's a much older place, unless it got torn down recently. 3551. I think it's right up. It's a couple blocks north. Yeah, that's the amusement park. So, that's about where it was. Did they tear it down? Oh man, that sucks. Well, so it was a blue 2-story apartment with one unit in the bottom, one unit on the top. I was on the top one, and I was living with two absolutely gorgeous Swedish sisters that I met in youth hostel when I moved down to San Diego. And we found that place, and it was like a week before classes started. And there's a grocery store, it's like a Vons or something, that's a Ralph's somewhere up near Pacific Beach in this area. And I was bicycling back, and I basically woke up in the hospital. Yeah, that's hit and run, left for dead. I somehow, in my complete concussed state, I landed, my helmet didn't do any good. I landed on my face and skidded to a halt on my face. And my Oakleys, I'm at my mom's house. The Oakleys I was wearing saved my eyeball. I would have scraped my eyeball out of my head. And got a big old scar on my chin here on my right side. And in my concussed state, I managed to find my way home somehow. I have like a very vague memory of asking people how to get to 3551 Oceanfront Walk, and them just looking at me in horror. And I got home. I don't remember getting home at all, but hours later, a friend found me on the porch, and I was completely passed out. And by this point, I got a heat stroke as well, because I've been sitting in the sun for like 5 hours. And she was wondering why I wasn't answering the phone, and came by to check on me, and she found me in just a puddle of blood surrounded by about a dozen towels I stole off people's porches on the way home. And so the next time I woke up was in the ambulance and going off to Scripps Medical Center. And I woke up and I'm like, oh, I'm in an ambulance. There's EMTs around me. Something must have happened. And the only thought that went through my mind was, they're going to give me a catheter, and I don't want a catheter. You know, your brain does weird things when you're in shock. And so like I grabbed this EMT by the lapels. I'm like, don't give me a catheter. And he's like, don't worry, man. We're not going to give you a catheter. And I pass out again. And the next time I woke up, I was inside the CAT scan machine. And I don't know if you've ever been inside a CAT scan machine, but there's a thing that says, like, don't open your eyes, lasers in progress. And I was like, don't open your eyes, lasers in progress. What the hell? And I passed out again. And the next time I woke up was a brief moment where there's a doctor standing over me, and he's got a needle. And I'm like, hey, dude, what you doing? He's like, oh, you got a big old cut in your chin. I'm going to give you some local anesthetic and stitch it up. And I was like, well, make sure it's not Novocaine, because Novocaine doesn't work on me. And he's like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And they inject me, and I'm like, ow. And they stitch me up, ow, ow. The only pain I remember is him stitching up my chin. And he's like, you feel that? I'm like, don't you asshole? I told you Novocaine doesn't work. And I passed out again, and I woke up hours later, sometime at close to midnight. And a nurse comes in, and she's like, oh, you're finally awake. And so they do the whole, like, how many fingers am I holding up? Who's the president of the United States? This is September of 1999. And so I'm like, Bill Clinton, what day of the week is it? And I'm like, I've been living on the beach for like 3 months. I have no idea what day of the week it is or what the date is. She's like, oh, it's September 12th, 1999. I'm like, September 12th, 1999. September 12th, 1999. And like an hour later, another nurse comes in, does the whole thing to me again. Who's the president? You know, how many fingers I'm holding up? What day of the week? So I'm like, September 12th, 1999. She's like, no, it's September 13th. I'm like, well, what the hell time is it? And it was like 12:02 a.m. I'm like, you dick. I have no idea what time it is. So anyway, spent 30-something hours in the hospital. It cost around $40,000. Blue Cross Blue Shield refused to cover any of it because it's a non-preferred provider. And so I was 18 years old and bankrupt and had to come home to mommy and figure out what the hell I'm going to do with my life and recover from my head injury. And I lost my baseball scholarship. and had to bounce around community college and did tech work for a while and got my Microsoft certification. And yeah, it changed the course of my life, getting hit and run by some asshole. And that's how I ended up not majoring in engineering and become physics and math guy. So yeah, 35513115. Oh crap! What was the address? Let's try. Let me see here. 3155 Oceanfront Walk. Let's try that one. No, it's one of those numbers. Nope, that's the actual amusement park. So maybe it was 3511. Ooh, maybe it's that one. 3511 Oceanfront Walk. What was my address, folks? Oh, wait. This is it. 3511. That's the one right there. Okay, that's where I lived. So this place right here was, if I have the right one, this looks like where it is. Yeah, that's it. This is it. Yeah, that's where I lived. So I was up here. I lived up in this one. This was the house they used for Veronica Mars on the reboot of her show last year before. It was wild. Like, oh, that's my kitchen. That's my bathroom. that's the bedroom I lived in. It was so weird to see like Veronica Mars walking around my house in Ocean Beach. So I had a pretty good life that summer. I worked this tech job, rebuilding the network for C&E Vision Group, which was like this distributor for Bosch and Lohm, and they had some sort of power outage and whatever. But I worked from like 6:30 p.m. until 2:30 in the morning, rebuilding the network, and then I was spend the entire like late morning, early afternoon surfing all day when no one was out there. It was great. I was in fantastic shape. And then bicycle all over the place till I got hit by a car. That was life. 3511. That's the one. Yeah, these places are new since then. But that was good life for a while, for those brief few weeks. All right. So, that's it, folks. I'm spent. I am oh yeah, beachfront was awesome. So all these places are vacation rentals, and they go for boatloads of money in the summertime. Cannot afford to live there. So from Memorial Day to Labor Day, they're like $4,000 a week. Absolutely stupid expensive. But from Labor Day to Memorial Day, they just stuff a bunch of college kids into these places for like $900 a month. At least back then, probably more now. So they would have someone in there, and that way they wouldn't have squatters and stuff. So basically, from about the time college is about to start until Memorial Day, you got beautiful places to live for super cheap. You just had to get the hell out of there in time for Memorial Day weekend. So I highly recommend. I recommend doing it. If you are a young buck and you're looking at going to college, you can't go wrong with living on the beach. Ugly people don't go to the beach. It's all like beautiful buff people, and I felt like the ugliest human being there, and it was glorious. So yeah, there you go. There's your San Diego story for the day. All right, everyone. I want to thank you so much for stopping by for After Dark with me there. And we talked cars, we talked beaches, we talked bikes, we talked stocks, we talked weird developments in Turkey. We kind of covered the whole thing there, man. Yeah, so cool. I'll see you guys Monday if I don't see you on Twitch while I'm playing a useless video game some point this weekend. Avita Zane, enjoy yourselves. Monkey Butt, what do you have to say to them? You have to say toodaloo, right? Toodaloo, my darling. And ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.